Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me from the back? Okay. Well, good morning. Welcome to Las Vegas City Elections Councilor Debate. Department of Political Science welcomes you. And we have seven candidates who are here in person today. There is a candidate who couldn't make it. Someone will read their statement. My name is Dr. Bilge Susumer. If you don't know me, I was moderating the conversation last week as well. I will briefly tell you what our rules are. I'm not going to be dancing on stage. All right, so what's going to happen is every councilor candidate will get 3 minutes to talk about their platform first. Everyone will get 3 minutes. And then I'm going to be our volunteers will be collecting questions from you all. They have cards that you can get, pens that you can get to write down your questions. I'll be getting the questions and reading them and trying to put in the smart order for everyone to answer the questions. They will get a minute to talk about these questions. So if some of the questions are too big, I will probably chop them off and ask them in 2 stages. Huh.
Make sure everybody knows which ward everybody's in.
Yes, okay. So let us introduce the candidates really fast. Can you tell me your name, your last name, and what ward you're running for?
Michael L. Montoya, Ward 2.
Okay. One thing I'm going to ask you all is that we do not have a PA system in this room, so I would like to suggest that you project your voice a little bit and try to talk to that speaker and try to be as loud as possible so everyone can hear you. All right, please go ahead.
Good morning, Benito Pacheco, candidate for Ward 2.
I'm Barbara Perea Casey. I am currently a city councilor for Ward 3, and I am running for re-election.
Gutierrez, I'm running for Ward 3.
Virginia Marujo for Ward 3. Caroline Williams, Ward 4.
Good morning, Marvin Martinez, current city councilor for Ward 4.
All right, thank you all for being here. So, does anyone in the audience have any questions about how we're going to do this before we go ahead? Not a question to the councilors.
Yeah, no, I'm fairly new resident of Las Vegas. I'm wondering what's the difference between wards 2, 3, and 4?
Yes. Yes, there is an electoral map that you can look online, Las Vegas, New Mexico electoral map, and that will show you, it's on the Las Vegas City's website, that will show you exactly where you are in what ward.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So we want to start with Ward 2, right? All right. Oh, okay. All right, so let's have a round of applause for all our candidates. They're going to get their achievements. Do I have a timekeeper? All right, you're the timekeeper, right? All right, there's the time.
I'd like to apologize, my nephew, Benito Lohan will not be able to attend to prior commitments, but he did write a letter and explaining and introducing himself to who he is, what he stands for. So I'd like to see that.
Good morning, my name is Arturo Padilla. I have the honor of speaking on behalf of my cousin Benito Anthony Lujan, candidate for Las Vegas City Council Ward 2. Benito sends his sincere apologies for not being here, able to attend today's forum. He wants the community to know how deeply he values the opportunity to serve and represent the people of Las Vegas. Benito Anthony Lujan was born and raised here in Las Vegas and has dedicated over 20 of his years of life serving the city through the various departments. Most recently as project manager for utilities department before retiring. As a former project manager, he managed and oversaw and designed and helped design the completion of Bradner Dam and various other important infrastructure projects. Throughout his career, he gained the knowledge and experience needed to understand how the city operates from the ground up. Now, as a retired City of Las Vegas employee and small business owner of Elite Pest and Weed Solution, he's ready to continue that service from a new perspective, one rooted in knowledge, experience, integrity, and dedication. He's running because he cares deeply about the future of our community. Ward 2 deserves better leadership that listens, takes action, and delivers results that truly matter. He wants to focus on strengthening communication between residents and the city leadership, supporting small businesses and addressing critical issues like our city's water infrastructure, ensuring reliable solutions for generations to come. Las Vegas is a city full of heart, resilience, and potential. Together, he believes we can make it stronger, more connected, and better prepared for the future. Benito thanks you for the opportunity to serve. Benito Anthony Lujan humbly asks for your support and vote in this election. Remember to vote number 1 on your ballot. Thank you.
We'll go in this order, right?
Sure.
Take the floor.
Thank you very much. I am your current city councilman, Michael L. Montoya, Ward 2. I believe in open form of government. My role is to help build a safe community, preserve our culture and traditions, and improve the quality of life for all residents. My wife Geraldine and I are celebrating 50 years of marriage next July. She retired as an educator of 30 years of service at the East Las Vegas school system. Laura is my oldest, is the state treasurer from New Mexico. Jeannie is my youngest daughter, and she's self-employed, a psychotherapist, and Lorenzo, who works for the New Mexico Environmental Department. And we enjoy our 3 grandchildren. It is an honor to serve Ward 2. Unfortunately, my term has included COVID-19 and devastations of the Hermit's Peak Canyon fire, as well as contamination of our water and our flooding. I graduated from West Las Vegas. I worked for the Medi plant, TGNY stores, the city of Las Vegas, where I grew and appreciated customer service. I ensured the maintenance and safety of state highways within District 4. I have been elected and appointed to several as a councilman for the last 8 years. Well, not last 8 years. I served from 2002 to 2004. And then this last term, I was appointed before I ran unopposed. I served as Mayor Pro Tem, and I chair the Finance Committee, and I belong to 5 other five other committees: the Airport Committee, Utilities Committee, the Tree Board Committee, Recreation Committee, and I belong to 4-year service with the library back in 2002 as well. My knowledge, my experience that you have invested in me, that return is coming back, and we'll prove today I'm running on my track record of what we have accomplished in the last 4 years. And thank you for hosting this event, and so that our citizens can be more knowledgeable about city government. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benito Pacheco. Best of luck to Mr. Montoya, Mr. Lujan. I'm proud to say I was born and raised here in Las Vegas, New Mexico, in Ward 2. This community has shaped me from the neighborhoods where I rode my bike as a kid to the schools that taught me the value of hard work and experience and perseverance. I was raised by my mom, who's back there, raise your hand, single parent. So, you know, raising a boy like me was never easy. He's still probably never trouble sometimes. So But she showed me the dedication, that dedication and compassion go hand in hand. She taught me that leadership isn't about titles, it's about service. This lesson has guided me throughout my life. I'm a proud graduate of Robertson High School and of Highlands University. Both of these institutions laid the foundation that I stand on today. My wife, Carla, who's right here, the better half, and I have been married for 26 years. She has been really blessed, I know. And together we raised our daughter Nieves, who isn't here today, but recently moved to Albuquerque and starting a job there. But she has graduated from both Robertson and Highlands. Our family story is one of faith, education, and community. And like many families in Las Vegas, we're deeply rooted in the belief that this city can and should thrive. When I think about the challenges we face, water, public safety, civic pride, I see opportunities for progress. We can't afford to treat these as separate issues. They are all connected to how we plan, how we communicate, and how we take care of one another. Whether it's protecting our most vital resource, water, ensuring our neighborhood are safe and well lit, or building pride through local investment in community events, we need leadership that listens, collaborates, and delivers. Throughout my career here at Highlands University, I've built partnerships that make little things happen between schools, government, private industry. My strength lies in networking, setting and achieving measurable goals, and using data to make decisions that benefit people, not politics. But more than anything, my strength is being gente. I'm from here. Someone who understands Las Vegas because I am part of it. I believe leadership should be grounded in humility, listening, and willingness to find solutions. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, to listen, and to help move Las Vegas forward. My phone number, 505-429-8591, should you have more questions for me. I have a meet and greet following the event at Charlie's Pick and Span, 12:30. Remember, Pacheco for you, Pacheco Ward 2. So number 4 on the ballot, the Ward 2 House. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Barbara Casey, and I am running for re-election in Ward 3. I am also a Las Vegas native, born and raised here in Old Town. I graduated from West Las Vegas High School, have my BA and my MA from Highlands University, and my doctorate from the University of New Mexico. I have been an educator all my life. I retired as a public school superintendent, and I continue to, I think my whole life has been a life of service. I have run for office in other places. I have served as a state representative. I worked for the United Nations in El Salvador during their elections. I have done all kinds of things, served the state of New Mexico on the National Association of Educators. Through the legislature, I served 9 consecutive years, which is unprecedented. And I'm very proud to say that I am, along with our mayor, I am a graduate of the Municipal Officials Leadership Institute. So I am already a certified city councilor and have been since 2017. I have worked very hard in Ward 3 and for the city as a whole to improve infrastructure, to add drainage, new streets, sidewalks, playground equipment, gotten our parks fixed, numerous things that have been necessary. The most important being our water treatment facility, which is now working fine, thank goodness. And it will continue to work that way, hopefully, because we have already spent over $20 million on getting it well enough so that it can deliver potable, drinkable, wonderful water to all the citizens of Las Vegas while we plan and design the new water treatment facility, and that's also in the works. We have a lot going for us. We are working very hard to make sure that we keep moving the city forward. And I hope that you give me the opportunity to do that by electing me November 4th. Thank you so much.
My name is Bob Gutierrez, I'm running for Ward 3 also. I'm originally from here, I'm a native of Las Vegas, New Mexico. I've been back here about 5 years now. I grew up here as a kid. I graduated from West Las Vegas. I did 28 years in the Navy, retired as a commander. I have a bachelor's in computer science from Virginia. I have a master's in business administration from the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California. I have a master's in naval science from the Naval War College in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And some other various aspects of education. What brought me back home here was COVID. I was living in Monterey, California, and COVID hit. The cost of living is just too much, so I moved back down here. And I've been back for 5 years, and now would be a great opportunity, I think, for myself after 28 years in the Navy to be able to give back to my community and watch Las Vegas thrive through beautification, through the streets, through the tree board, through speed bumps that don't belong there by Paul D. Henry, right? through the water problem that we have, right? I'd like to get involved with that and be a part of that. And just being given the opportunity to come up here and be able to run it, I really appreciate it. And thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Virginia Marujo, going for Ward 3. I was born here in Las Vegas up until the age of 3, where I used to live on South Pacific and take my walker across the street to the park and experience the park on my own. That's where I grew up. I was in the West Side. I've lived in various parts of Las Vegas, although I disappeared for a while to Colorado. When I was 17, I moved back and I was able to graduate from Robertson High School, move on to get my master's and my bachelor's over at New Mexico Highlands University. I also got my associates at Luna Community College for computer information, computer science, and media arts. So I've been also able to teach at Highlands and Luna. I was part of a lot of the nonprofits in this community, so I know how it is to go from the ground up. I worked with the Chamber of Commerce, with Casa de Cultura. We created the Junior Chamber of Commerce. There was a whole bunch of things. When I moved back, I learned the history of Las Vegas really well, and I found out my grandpa had one of the first sawmills here in Las Vegas, which was really cool. I know everybody says I can't vote for you because I live in the outskirts. I get it. I live a good majority of my time since I've been back over in Mineral Hill. And I just grew a passion for it ever since I started learning it, and I haven't stopped. I worked for the city also for several years. That's where I really saw what was happening. And I seen how plans would come in, they'd go to a shop, they'd come in, they'd go to a shop, they come in, they go to a shop, and they never got completed. And I was wondering, why didn't it get completed? Well, there's, you know, so much animosity and a whole bunch of other things that go on within the city that weren't getting those completed. So I really grew a passion to get into, I never really wanted to be into politics, but being there made me realize that some people had to try to step up. And so that's what I plan to do. I have a lot of experience with a lot of people, including the state park as well, which I know is a big thing going around right now with petitions. We have one in my shop. I'm a business owner. That's another thing, is I learned about the history of the trolley. The city didn't take it on. I had made a business plan when I was there. So when I left the city, I took it and I now own the trolley. And I own a print shop on the corner of 6th and Douglas. And so I'm really passionate about everything in the community, especially the history, the culture. We need to bring it all back instead of letting them take it away piece by piece, including having music in our gazebo. We need that back as well. There's a lot of history and culture here that we really need to embrace. We're losing one of the main languages. Las Vegas is so unique. It's more unique than any other place, the language, and we're losing that as well. So we need to bring that back. Again, Virginia Marujo for Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia.
Hi,
Caroline Williams, I'm running for Ward 4. My partner Xander and I, we bought the Woody's Market, and that's where we live in Ward 4. And Ward 4 is mostly the small businesses, the local businesses, whereas like the fast food and Walmart and stuff is the other ward. But I have a degree in archaeology from the University of Washington, after which I decided I wanted to pursue art, so I have a certificate in drawing and painting from a classical atelier in Seattle. And the arts and culture is something I really deeply value. I'm also the vice president of the Arts Council and brought the People's Fair back after it was dormant from COVID. Also organized high school art shows at the Highlands, and I actually have over 10 years experience in arts and culture nonprofits. And I ended up in Vegas because, well, I was born in Alabama because my parents are software engineers. They, in Huntsville, they have a building plant, and they we're working on the space station. And then we moved to Virginia for 8 years, and then Seattle, where I spent the majority of my life. I worked in like security and with teenagers and I worked with teenagers teaching art. And then I met my partner at an art show in Oregon, and he grew up in El Dorado Springs, Colorado. And his mom would drive through Vegas. In the winter time, they would go to some warm place like Arizona or California. And we both love historic towns. The town we lived in Oregon was an old fishing where they canned bumblebee tuna, and we both have a love for old architecture. And he told me about Vegas, and I had never heard of it before. And now that we've moved here, I was really falling in love with the community. I've been so supportive, and I think it's such a beautiful town. And to preserve the beauty and the specialness of this.
Hi, good morning, and thank you guys for hosting this forum event today. My name is Marvin Martinez. I am currently Mayor Pro Tem and City Councilor for Ward 4. I grew up here in Vegas. I'm a lifelong resident of Las Vegas, all 64 years of that. Too bad, no? Anyway, I'm married to my wife, Marietta Martinez, and I have two children and 2 grandchildren here in Vegas. I'm invested in our community. I was a school board member for close to 9 years at West Las Vegas Schools, that I served there for our community, our public schools, and I continue to serve in this capacity as a councilman. I was originally set up by, well, actually, I took this position as Ward 4 councilman as an appointed position. When the mayor was seeking out an individual for Ward 4, he had a couple of people that were in mind. That didn't work out, and I didn't put my name in originally, so I just waited to see what he was doing. And he went ahead and he called me, and he asked me if I could serve with him on the city council. I said, not a problem. And why? Because I want to give back to my community. My community is very, very giving for one. I also serve this community in another capacity. I am a guy that serves community with propane. I've done that for 40 years in our community. I've had a business in our community. That business was the Napa Auto Parts store here in Vegas that I did for 16 years. So I'm well-rounded with public service and serving our community in any and every capacity. I care about our community. It's got a long life history of culture and great values. And I believe strongly in family values, which are very, very important, especially in today's world. We need to continue to support our community in every capacity that we can. I don't run in any kind of a platform. I just try to make the best decisions I can for the community that we serve. I serve with great people that we have in our council and a good mayor. And if you can see and notice that we have a lot of changes that we've done in the past year and a half that I've been there. I was appointed last year in February, and since then, we've gone quite a bit. Thank you, guys.
All right, so turns out there is one more candidate that's running for the seat in Ward 2, name Lupe Turney? Torres, sorry. We're unable to attend. I strongly urge everyone to look up their platform and be informed about what they are doing as well. All right. Whew, thank you.
I just wanted to say, if you're getting into the Q&A now, at the last forum, there were a lot of questions,
Yes.
and I wasn't able to stay to the end, but I don't know if you got through all the questions. But I was just thinking, if the candidates were efficient in answering the questions, we could get to more questions.
Okay.
Just a suggestion, thank you.
All right. So I have plenty of questions in front of me right now. I am trying to get them together, condense them, and provide opportunity for everyone to give us their answers. So in the next, I'll be reading a question and you will all get a minute to answer. I'm gonna read 3 questions first because they're all asking the same thing in a different way, but it's about change. If you are elected, what is one improvement we would see in a year or so? What do you like to change in Las Vegas? What changes do you feel are needed in the city beyond what has been done so far? So, yes, people are asking you, what do you think are going to be changed when you get into office in the next year?
I go first.
Wait, yes, let's do it, hold just a second, let's do it this way, you start and then we'll go like that.
Sure, that'd be fine. The second question, the second person this way. The next question.
Okay, I see your point, alright.
Okay, what changes does our community need? Well, our community needs a lot of things right now, but we're working on them, okay? Water is number 1. Without water, we can't do anything in our community. We can't have housing, we can't bring in economic development, we can't do anything. We need to support our community right now that we have the resources to do that. The resources are available and they've been made available by the Calf Canyon Fire, by FEMA. We need to take the initiative right now and make sure that we do the right things with that money. We've right now got an intergovernmental agreement with the governor and the governor's office in Santa Fe to make sure that we move that project forward. Housing, real important to grow our community. I want to see our community grow and flourish. I don't want to see it get smaller and smaller and people go away. We need to provide better customer service for our community. From anything from restaurants all the way to city government, anything in between and everything. Transparency is very, very good as well. Thank you.
One project I would like to work on is addressing of the over 500 abandoned properties that are not being used. If we could somehow provide incentives to the owners to fix them up and turn them into affordable permanent housing. A lot of them are owned either by deceased people or absentees. There are a lot of family disputes where it belongs to somebody and they just don't do anything with it. And instead of building an apartment complex or in Jude Torres golf course, why don't we just fix up the old buildings?
So this is a question that I see go on Facebook a lot and we always get beat up over it. Because honestly, and I get it, the community speaks all the time, it says, a lot of these things they talk about are things we gotta fix. These are things that are already there. We don't necessarily need to change them. They've been changed, we change them back. One thing we do need to change though is how we approach things and how we complete these projects and we actually push things forward. That's the change we need. We don't need to be changing how our history is, how our culture is, what our plans are. Water, I mean, that's something we've had, all our lives. So it's more about how we approach things. That's the change we need. How we see things, how we look at things, and how we actually push forward and make these things happen. That's the biggest change we need in this community. All the other changes come along when we start doing that, when we start pulling these things off the shelves instead of putting them on the shelves. All these plans for all these years. I walked in that office one day, to that director's office, and I just noticed the amount of plans that have been done for one project, and that's what we need, is the change in the way we approach things.
I agree with Ms. Maru here about change. We do need change. And my platform is brutal efficiency. Where does that come from? It's I like to say we need to follow policy and verbatim compliance in everything that we do. One of the changes that I would like to see is the beautification of the city. For one, a lot of overhanging trees, a lot of speed bumps that don't belong there, simple things like that that concern me. As far as change for the city as we move forward, one of the things that does concern me is AI. Artificial intelligence, you guys hear about it all the time, here and there. There's different programs where people can learn. And then we say to ourselves, well, how do we take it to the children in the classroom? Well, how do we take it to the city? Because it's gonna impact us as adults right now. And as our life moves forward, the same way the internet took over our lives and some people got caught behind, artificial intelligence is gonna do the same thing. So I think it's important that the city jump up on top of that and get the training that it needs to get, the familiarization, because it's here to stay. And it's only gonna get.
Our city needs a lot of things. What you need to know, though, is that in the last 3 years, there has been more improvement, more growth, more development than has been reported anywhere. In my ward alone, we have spent $25,269,134 for improvements. We've improved streets, we put in sidewalks, we put in new gas mains, new water lines, we have tested our water. We have a water treatment plant that is now working. That costs $20 million. We are going to buy 3 new storage tanks so that we don't ever run out of water. Those will be placed strategically in different areas of our community so that we make sure that we have water no matter what happens to the water treatment facility. We need to have water while that water treatment plant, the new one, is being built. We have a lot of things going on. We have, I think we've been much more transparent and accountable for the work that we have done in the last couple of years. Thank you.
Morning, everybody's still awake up there. Be quick, 1 minute. There's a lot of challenges facing any city government, right? And I go back to this analogy. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So what things can we do that are easy to accomplish with what we already have in place? And one of those is building civic pride. we have developed a deficit mindset in the city of Las Vegas because we had fire, and then we had bad water, and people are moving away and there's no jobs. Well, it starts with the little things, and one of the candidates up here mentioned it, but the simple things we can control. How about a streetlight audit? How many streetlights do we see burnt out within the city? Those are easy fixes, that's an easy win. The city parks, the beautification of those areas, that's an easy win. That translates over to me looking at my yard and saying, you know what, I better clean it. So it is easy momentum to gain and an easy win. Thank you.
I don't know about easy, but those projects hadn't been done in 30 years. And I'll tell you, number one priority for mayor and council is the water treatment plant facility. We fought for $98 million and we want a plant that's gonna sustain the businesses and the residents of the city of Las Vegas for the next 30, 40, 50 years. Renovation of the Peterson Dam is number 2. That dam is built in 1912, needs renovation, it's overdue. A new city hall, we're still living in the city hall that the DOT donated to us. We need a renovation of the old city hall, the first and oldest city hall in New Mexico. Commerce Road, we just got $1.2 million for it. A street that hasn't been done in 50 years. We just got $1.2 million to do the second phase of the Gallinas River from Bridge Street to Mills with an overpass on Mills Avenue for the pedestrians. Housing, we're gonna do housing at Alto Supper Club, property owned by the city of Las Vegas, and on and on and on. Thank you.
Thank you all. Next question is going to be about policing and enforcement. I'm gonna read 2 questions that have the same kind of theme going on. And we can, this time we can answer it like this. Alright.
I thought you were gonna go down the line that way.
Alright, let me read the questions first.
No.
Alright. What do you intend to do concerning the crime and drug problems? What can be done about police protection and response time? Someone suggested that that's a big problem.
Well, thank you very much. The question, it's a great question, whomever asked it. You know, 4 years ago, we couldn't recruit officers for the city of Las Vegas. Why? Because they were getting paid an entry level of, I think it was $13 to $16 an hour. In the last 3-4 years, we have increased that to $32 an hour for officers. We were training them, they were going to Mora County, they were going to the state police office. We couldn't keep it. We had 12 vacancies. We had 3 officers per shift. We did that for the officers. We did the same thing for the fire department, and we gave the city employees $4.50 raise. So now we purchased 9 vehicles, fully equipped for the police department. We purchased actually 2 animal control officers trucks that help the police, and they were combined together. Crime has gone down. I believe it's like 13%. So it has, I'm sorry, thank you.
So in terms of crime, I think the reality is, this national figure, we're 30% above the national average when it comes to crime. And the chief shaking his head, but hey, police chief, let's give him a round of applause. I think, you know, we have law enforcement that does a great job, but what do we do as a community? What do we do as citizens? What part do we have? So I think there's things that we can do like community policing. How do we better collaborate and coordinate with law enforcement here in the community? And do we look at that as an oppositional type of interaction, or do we look at that as a collaborative type of action? I think too many times we look at it as oppositional, but we should be working together. The majority of us want a safe, controlled environment that we can really feel safe in. Now, community policing is one thing. I think the other thing that I've seen in other communities of our size is community events. So use our local schools, use our local businesses for evenings to meet with police officers at certain city wards, discuss what's going on, get to know the people. So I think it's sometimes as simple as building collaboration, building community with the resources that are already there to maximize them.
I have had the pleasure and the honor of doing a ride along with one of our police officers. And I tell you what, I've never been so impressed in my life. The work that they do, the respect that they have from the community is absolutely amazing. And I'm proud that we have such a great police force. We have a wonderful chief of police and good officers that work very hard. And one of the reasons, as Councilor Montoya mentioned, is that the pay was so poor, nobody wanted to work. As for the drug problem, we do have collaboration with Region 4 Task Force, which is state police and other officials in Mora County that help us with the drug problem. Fentanyl is a huge, huge issue, and I'm very pleased that we did apprehend at least one major drug dealer here in town that had $144,000 stashed in his closet at home from selling fentanyl pills. And so that's the kind of work that we need to continue to do to provide safety for everyone. Thank you.
I think supporting and giving the police what they need is key. I mean, I'm not a police officer, so I don't know the drills. You asked about, one question was earlier about response time for police. I don't know the response time. I don't know what that is, but I know as a counselor, I'll go up there, I'll lift the hood and I'll say, hey, maybe there is a quicker way to respond. Maybe there is a better way to do things. I'm all about looking at better ways to do things, ways to make things more efficient so we could live a little bit better. The police do a great job, and I respect everything that they do, and I continue to support them, and as a city councilman, I can support them even more. Thank you.
So, like I said, I worked with the city before. When I worked with the police department, they were amazing at the time. They were always there to support us in everything we needed with events, whatever it might be. The one thing is that they always need that support, and I'm glad to see that, you know, they worked on increasing pay and things like that, because that is when it started to slip away. The drugs is a big thing, and I would like to see those plans for the treatment centers, for the buildings, for the rehab locations, everything that had been worked on over 5 years ago and seems to still be on the table. Like I say, these plans that sit there, I would like to see those come out and start being worked on and actually being accomplished again, so that it will help the police department and everyone else. The less drugs we have out there, the little less crime we have. And so it would be nice to start seeing all these plans, even the ones for the police department, fire department, everything that had been shelved, come out and really get those things done so that it'll help everybody in general. Thank you.
I think the police department's doing a really good job. You always see them driving around. It makes me feel safe. There's the new vending machine they put at the Recovery Cafe, which is great. It's a really hard question considering our president is a felon. But simple things such as what Benito said with the streetlights. I think I was walking the dogs on the Riverwalk one evening and the sun was going down, and some creepy guy popped out of the bushes. And luckily I had my dogs, but I think more lighting on the street and simple fixes to infrastructure could prevent crime from going down, because people wouldn't just be whatever, not being watched in the dark.
I feel that planning and consistency is key. Planning a good police department is a good thing. But you can't plan a good police department if you don't have police officers that are recruited. I believe strongly that our current chief, our city officials, along with our city manager, has made it very possible to bring in new recruitment. Not only within the officers, but in those response times as well. Those response times are very, very important because that's what's critical out there when you have to try to get somebody out there. But going back to the question about crime is this: if you've got crime and all the parties along that border don't communicate, don't work together, you've got judges that have to work together, you've got city officials that gotta work together. That's gotta go all hand in hand. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next set of questions are about traffic and enforcement. So going the same theme. I'll read two sets of questions here. What can you do to address noise levels from cars, motorcycles that ignore city's ordinances? What can be done about traffic control, stopping at stop signs, etc.? So basically, people wanna know how the city can better enforce traffic rules.
You want me to go first? I can go first.
Okay, we can do that.
This is a question that we've gotten as counselors in the most recent time. Noise levels are high. Speeding is big in our community. And I think a lot of it is driven by, first it starts at home, okay? But I strongly believe that what's happened to our community in the last couple of years is FEMA, okay? Well, why do I blame FEMA for some of this? I'm blaming FEMA for the ability to have, we got parents that are out there buying their cars for their children, very, very impressive cars, okay? But that's not the cure. The cure is enforcement, making sure that we have police protection to take care of those speeding issues, the noise levels. We need to make sure that we cover those areas so that we can have a better, safer community. It's just too bad that, you can't go out there and buy your kid a $80,000 race car and you can't expect them to not settle down. You gotta enforce that. Thank you.
I don't know if this is off topic, but I feel like the dogs are what wake me up a lot of the time. Because everybody has a dog, and even a quiet car that's driving by, the neighbor's dogs, they like try to bite the tires. And then our dogs start barking. It's like every night. Maybe some better dog training or something, even though that's their job. But yeah, I think that's worse than cars.
Well, this one's very familiar to me, as I used to work Fiestas, and by the way, when I did, we won runner-up 3 years in a row at the New Mexico Top Hat Awards for Best Event of the Year. With that year, we also had Alan Alfield won Professional of the Year, and I got runner-up for Tourism Professional of the Year. But anyway, we had this problem come up several times: cars, music, everything. And we worked and worked and worked on it, and we got it to a point where we could at least have fiestas till at least 10 or 11. Because if it was up to us, even me especially, guaranteed I'd be out there all day and all night in that gazebo dancing my butt off. But there's been a lot of improvements, and I feel there could be a lot more. Probably have to get out there and do some more stops. I live on the corner of, by the corner of 6th and Friedman, and I could tell you right now, I hear the speeding, I see the running the stop signs constantly. I mean, they could sit on my corner and probably give out 200 tickets a day. That's how bad it is. But we did do a lot of improvements. The city has done a lot of improvements throughout the year, and that's what I would just continue to.
The speeding, I don't think it's ever going away. So it's only gonna get, with the FEMA and stuff and everybody getting new cars, it's gonna get worse. I think one of the ways you could prevent it, I guess, would be to start painting these crosswalks. There's so many crosswalks that are unpainted right now. You know, maybe put some lights on the stop signs and maybe a higher fine, maybe a fine that will remind somebody not to be speeding in town and stuff. I don't know what the current fine is if you get caught speeding. If you're doing 30, let's say, in a 20. I don't know what that fine is, right? But I do see the police out there actually they are trying to curb it. You see them out there hiding in the corners and stuff, picking people up left and right. So they did pick me up one time.
I think we have to have a more realistic view of what the police can and cannot do. They cannot just, you know, if somebody says, oh, I just saw a blue car drive in front of my house and they were making a whole bunch of noise. They don't have the time or the personnel to be driving around town looking for that blue car. The police have to see and witness what is happening themselves so that they can take action. If you call in a report on South Grand and the police patrol cars, that's why they're called patrol, they drive all over the place, they can't be everywhere at once, but they sure try. And if they don't see that infraction happening right in front of them, there's not much that they can do. They have to wait until they see it, and then they can find that person, stop them, say you're speeding, you're making too much noise, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you're on a motorbike and you're not wearing a helmet, you have to do that. All of those things they can do, but they have to see it themselves. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
So in terms of speeding, I think there's certain things that we have to accept. I mean, it's not specific to Las Vegas. Any of you drive from here to Santa Fe, here to Albuquerque, set your cruise control at 75, and everybody's passing you. So it's not a Las Vegas problem. It's just the norm almost. I'm not saying we should accept it, but it's very difficult to combat when the majority of the population speeds. Now, in terms of the noise ordinance and enforcing that, I think if we want law enforcement to have the tools to enforce a code, it needs to be clearly defined. So if you look at our code as it exists, there's no specific decibel level within the code. There's no specific types of sound. It's certain things, but no types. So if I buy a car that has the radio blasting, is that violation or not? So if we would like law enforcement to be able to legally enforce those types of codes, we need to better clearly define them.
You know, I think the first thing is signage. Without a sign, people don't know what the speed limit is. On 8th Street, I brought up these issues already. We have 2 speed limit signs, one going north and one coming down for a 2-mile stretch. Not acceptable. On Legion, we had the same thing. It had been reported, but we do have a brand new traffic light that tells you what speed you're going down on Legion. We have signage now, and we're gonna work on a 3-way stop on Legion and Calle Alegre. We're gonna slow them down some way or another. If tickets don't work, fine, but we're gonna slow them down somehow. Policing, giving them more money to stay around, to have more officers on the grounds, on the roads, patrolling is one thing. Crosswalks, we just spent $150,000 in crosswalks all over town. I mean, they were terrible. You know, we're working at it, we're improving. But we have certain areas and we have monitors that tell you, and we put them around town, Williams, Legion and so forth, and Mexico Avenue, to monitor, and people, they're working. People do slow down. Thank you.
All right, almost an hour has passed. I wanna ask if the candidates would like to take a moment and get a glass of water. No? No? Okay.
Let's push on.
All right, let's push through. Okay, and we have our city manager here taking rigorous notes, so that's good, this is good. Okay, the next set of questions we have are going to be about the mandate of the city councilor and what kind of leadership qualities you are going to be bringing if you get elected. First question. What is the city charter and how does it impact your job as a councilor? Can start from this side.
Okay, you know, I refer to the city charter as the Bible for the city of Las Vegas. It's a policy, it's something that the people voted on. You have 12 questions, or 10 questions on the ballot to vote on what kind of form of government you want. 8 to 4, 4 to 8 council, raising pay, everything that has to do with us upstream from March election to the November election. You answer those questions. You decide what kind of government you want us to follow. We work for you. The charter was established. There's only a few cities that are self-governing city charter. And that means that we follow what you say, not what, and we also follow what state statute says. But it gives us a guide, a direction of how to run the government. And we abide by that. We follow the ordinances, we follow the policies, we follow, we'll have after election, there'll be an organizational meeting and the governing body at that time will decide how they want to proceed and on and on. Thank you.
City charter for Las Vegas, or for any city, is basically our local constitution.
Yes.
It's what governs city council and the authority that we have. So we do operate under a home charter rule. City charter must be updated or reviewed, I believe, every 5 years. And it has currently been reviewed. I was part of the current city charter commission. That's kind of what piqued my interest in running for city council. Sometimes I question that myself at this point, but here I am, in it to win it, so what can I say? But I think in a nutshell, it is one of those structures of government that limits the authority of the council and guides the authority of the council, right? Like the US Constitution at the federal level, like the state constitution at the state level, it's the constitution at the local level.
I think both the folks that have already spoken have pretty much explained what the charter is. It's our guide as to what we can and cannot do. For example, the mayor does not have voting power unless there is a tie of a vote on any particular issue. It tells you what you can and cannot do in terms of being a city councilor. We have a code of ethics. We have Governmental Conduct Act that we have to follow. All of those things are included in the charter. We have lots of rules as to what happens if someone should die or resign from the council, or if the mayor leaves. What process do we use to keep the city going, to make sure that everything that we do continues? Those are the kinds of things the charter provides. Thank you.
Well, we pretty much know what the charter provides. What I will provide is verbatim compliance and efficiency in that charter and making sure that we follow the guidelines set forth by that said charter. When we follow the rules, everything's great. When we don't follow the rules, things get shaken up. And that's why policies and procedures are in place. If they're not right, then they get fixed. But as long as I'm a city councilman, we'll follow verbatim compliance, and that's about it.
City charters, so everybody pretty much said what it was. The only thing is that the city charter, we have one of the only charters set the way it is that's left in this country. And we should embrace that and we should take advantage of that and not take advantage of it to where we start to manipulate it. Because I've seen in the past where the charter says something, but it leaves out a certain word, and then guess what? They're manipulating it so they could take advantage and use it the way they want to get what they want. We gotta stop that. We gotta follow that charter. We gotta make sure it's right, and we gotta start going through these ordinances and making sure they're correct. Not just the charter, the ordinances, everything has to be looked at and has to be followed in a way that's not manipulating it itself. And we gotta embrace it. Like I said, we're the only ones with the charter, charter the way it is, and actually even many of our ordinances, which is geared to a lot of the food that we eat out here. So that's the way I see the charter, is we really gotta to look at it, not manipulate it, and use it better.
Yeah, following up on that, I think all citizens should read it and look into the fine print. And if changes need to be made, bring that up at city council meetings. I think that's wonderful that there's the ability to change it every 5 years, you said?
So I'm a product of what happened with the charter, okay? When former Mayor Trujillo resigned, that charter had to be followed by the city council at that time. So our new mayor that we currently have right now is also a product of that. That was changed. That was done because of the changes that's required by the charter. We are a home rule community, which means we get to decide how this thing runs. And like everybody mentioned, the charter's got purpose and it needs to be followed, and it's got guidelines, and it's got strength in it too. There's what you can do and what you cannot do. So following the city charter and making sure that we revise it every 5 years is a very, very important thing. If we don't revise that and we let it go, we're the ones that get booted out at the end. Thank you.
There is information about the charter changes that are up for election by the people on the back table.
Okay, thank you all. Another question we have from the crowd is about the kind of experience that you bring to Vegas from outside Las Vegas. The question is, what experience outside of Las Vegas do you have that will help you as a city councilor?
I'll go first. I actually don't have any experience from outside other than the work that I do every day. I am a long life resident of this community of Las Vegas for all 64 years that I've been here. And I've gone to college here. I've also gone to college at Eastern. But you get to see other communities in our state, let's say, and what are they doing that's different than what we're doing? I want to make sure that we've got good streets. I want to make sure that we've got that the crime's down in our community. I want to make sure that we've got good direction. Good direction is everything for us to, to stand by. Everything that's been talked about, whether it be public safety, streets, noise ordinances, and so forth. I witnessed that in other communities. I want to make sure that our community is doing whatever is necessary to make sure that we step up to that. Thank you.
I've seen a lot of communities all over the world. In the Netherlands, they have more than 2 prominent political parties. But maybe one day we can do that here. And my dad lived in Australia, and their high school system, like the kids, based on their grades in high school, they get placed into certain colleges. Like if someone wants to be a doctor or something and their grades aren't good enough, they can't be a doctor. And there are all sorts of possibilities that I think people don't even think about, like in the States. So.
Like I said, I grew up a good part of my childhood in Colorado, and the school I went to was 5 stories and basically the population of Las Vegas. So when I moved here, it was an experience to come into something very small, but I've learned to embrace the small communities, because in those big communities, you're just a number and you have nothing, especially being a gay woman, Hispanic. I was always looked down on and never given a chance on many things. So when I moved here, I learned a lot. Actually, this community gave me hope, and this community gave me strength. And so, you know, having that outside experience to know what it was like growing up like that, and then coming here, even though we're always telling each other things every day, but we still love each other, we're still there for each other, and we still work together. So that outside experience helps me to look at this community in a whole different way. So like I said, the population in my school is basically the population of Las Vegas.
My outside experience is mainly 28 years in the Navy. So the experience that I can bring here is beyond leadership, is being able to manage personnel, equipment, manage a schedule, and work those 3 things. Being able to take care of what's at hand. That's what I can bring to the picture here. Well, in the Navy, I ran a $12.5 million overhaul with 10 different entities on a daily basis here, working about 16, 17 hours a day. To give you an example of the dedication I got to the job and stuff. I managed about 50 ships as a deputy ops in the Atlantic. So I think I bring fresh eyes with an old look, seeing how I grew up here too. So there's a lot of times I'll go down on Grand, you can see you had the old pharmacy that used to be out there, used to be the old Allsops. There's little nuances like that in the town that sort of freak me out. So I got fresh eyes, but an old school kind of way of living here too. So that's what I bring to the table. So thank you.
I consider myself to be very blessed because I've had an opportunity throughout my life to travel to Europe, to Mexico, to Central America, work with those people. I worked with the UN. I met with President Salinas de Gortari in Mexico City to help negotiate some of the NAFTA treaty. I've done all kinds of things that I never expected to do as a student at North Public School here in Las Vegas. And so I am very, very blessed, and I had the opportunity to meet legislators from other states all across the country. I've traveled all over the United States. And so I bring, I think, ideas that I have heard from other places. I have a fresh look of how we approach things. And I think that we all need to move forward as well as we can with the resources that we have and continue to help Las Vegas not just survive, but thrive.
In terms of outside experience, one, I've worked at this institution for 30 years. So in higher ed, you work with a diverse background of individuals. And I've had the ability to do that, and I've been blessed to do that. I've lived here all my life, but I've traveled to various parts of the world. In the last couple of years, I've been in Guatemala and camped out there in the jungle with spiders that big, I do have been in for a while. On that trip, I was with Highlands University, I was a representative that went to American Samoa. The territory, I met with their governor, I went before their senate, and was able to develop some relationships there. So I bring the best of both worlds. Because part of the strength of being from here is that city government doesn't happen in a bubble, right? You have to have the ability to network. And it's tough to network sometimes, but we have to have a tie to the county commission. We have to have some networking abilities with Santa Fe. That's where the dollars are. Can you go to the roundhouse? Can you talk to a senator? Can you talk to a representative? Can you talk to the governor? That's the experience I bring to the table, as well as the diversity of different parts of the world.
I want to reflect 2 seconds back to the last question. I forgot, we are in the process of looking into speed cameras, where we'll be giving out tickets and checking into the law and all the legalities of it. Hopefully that will work. On this question, you know, I went to school in El Rito, New Mexico. I visited and lobbied the governor's office, the legislature for funding for the city of Las Vegas. Being a farmer and a rancher is a lot of experience and knowledge. We have to do with what we got. We got to work with what we have. And that brings a lot to me from my upbringing. We work with what we got. But I'll tell you, every time I visit Farmington, Ruidoso, Roswell, all these communities, I go off my way to see their solid waste plant, their water treatment plant, their recreation facilities, to learn more about how they're operating their operations, see what we can bring to Las Vegas. I'm a visual person, and I like to see firsthand and bring those ideas. I have taken staff to Ruidoso to learn about those experiences too. Thank you.
Thank you all. So next set of questions are going to be about policies and potential projects that are important to our people here. So the first one, what are the views on implementing a recycle center for plastics? 1 minute. Well, let's continue to do our Mexican way. Yeah, please.
You know, recycling was tried upon here in Las Vegas 20 years ago. And we invested a lot of money into it. We had machinery to recycle tires, plastic, aluminum, and it worked for a certain period of time. And then the demand wasn't there. I mean, no one was buying it. I don't know what it is now. I mean, maybe it's worth looking into. But at that time, I think we have one piece of equipment left from the recycling that we had at that time. And it was a good program. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I visit other cities and they recycle. And my son-in-law tells me it's like a sin not to recycle at his house. But I believe in recycling. Thank you.
I think that we can improve. Now, I obviously don't know the cost of what it would be. But I'll say we're recyclers. So we bag the stuff and we go visit my in-laws or my family in Santa Fe and we drop off our stuff in Santa Fe. So I would like to see us get to the point where we have our garbage bin and we have the recycling bin, make it easy, right? I think being environmentally conscious is I mean, that's just the way the world is. And that's something I support. You know, I think we can also, as a community, support that type of stuff by what we have in the stores, things of that nature, limiting plastics. And I don't want to get into that in terms of regulating it, but I think that could be a personal choice. But I think, you know, plastics, glass, all those types of things, people should have the ability to recycle those here in the community of Las Vegas. It's just basic community service and basic civic responsibility at this point in time. So it's something that we need to have.
Recycling is a really important part of keeping our environment clean. However, the plastics have been a real issue because there isn't any place to take them. And even when we take them to Santa Fe is having trouble trying to find a buyer for the plastics that they have. And so sometimes we mean well, but we're kind of not being able to move beyond that stumbling block that we have. Is who is going to pay for plastic and what are we gonna do with it? Newspapers, we can recycle those, cardboard. Also now the cardboard is not being bought any longer. We used to recycle that. So I think the only thing that people really recycle are aluminum cans. And you don't get a whole lot of money for those either. And I don't know what the person that takes them from Las Vegas to wherever he takes them makes, but that has been one of the biggest issues.
Recycling, I recycle, so. I love recycling. On a ship, I gotta go back to the Navy, 28 years on a ship. We recycled on a ship. We recycle plastics on a ship. We can do it on a ship, we can do it here. And I think it's important that we recycle for our children, for our future. It's important that we recycle, and I gotta agree with Mr. Pacheco here that we should have 2 bins out there gathering our trash on a daily basis. So it seems, I guess the system was out once before and it's deteriorated over time. I'll definitely make it one of my priorities to make sure we can recycle.
I remember that recycling program. I was going to Highlands at the time when the students got together and created the bins that had 4 different things, so you could put each of your pieces in there. I did see that disappear, and we can work on it. We didn't say we can't, although I know it's not only a national problem, international problem with the plastic. There's many places that aren't taking it. However, I've also seen many projects where it was cost effective to take that and reproduce it into another type of material that can be used for roads, streets, sidewalk, anything, basically. And it's not just plastic, it's glass, it's metal. I've seen it done with all of those. I think in Vegas, we're just a little bit behind everybody else, so it would be nice if we could actually catch up and do that. When I first moved here, I used to say that Vegas is 20 years behind everybody else. I think we need to get up to par with everyone and learn these cost-effective ways of recycling.
A couple of years ago, when I worked at Prairie Hill Cafe at the Plaza Hotel, I would collect all the milk cartons and stuff, and I would stash them in one of the broken refrigerators. My boss found it one day and just threw it all away. I care about recycling a lot because when I lived in Seattle, it was like you got fined for not doing it. But luckily I lived in an apartment complex, so they couldn't tell that I wasn't composting or whatever. I've heard of at the media arts, they can take bottle caps and put them in a 3D printer or something. That could be, they can't do bottles, but maybe they could build something out of it, like benches. Or even get a big dumpster where everybody can just throw it in there.
Well, recycling's, it's been talked about for a lot, but you know, we need to start at a small scale because it did go away. And we need to start basically at our solid waste department, which we have. Solid waste department actually does take metal in and do something with that metal. We take it to the scrapyard and basically turn it into dollars, okay? But if we need to start a small scale, just say like aluminum. We don't have to go all out on everything that's out there, whether it be paper, whether it be plastics or anything else like that. We need to concentrate on at least one item so that we can start a process to make everybody accountable for their recycling. I think it's such an important piece to make sure that our environment, our city is clean. We've got trash everywhere. Everybody's yard needs to be tuned up to some degree. I make sure that that happens with my yard too. So, thank you.
All right. Next question. What are your ideas for getting youth more involved in government and community engagement? A related question, would our community benefit from a free public outdoor skate park? How would you support it? Questions about youth, please.
Well, how do we get our youth involved in being part of our community? I think it starts by inviting them. You know, we had the charter commission that just broke up. We revised the charter. That charter was made up by different members of our community. Some of them were young, some of them were older, some of them were kind of in the middle. But if you bring those people in and get them acquainted with charter and ordinances and so forth, at least you got some buy-in. You've got them to make a difference in decision-making for our community. These are things that need to be done. But you also gotta take it to the schools. You gotta make sure that the schools are prepared to understand government, local government, not only federal government way at the top, but local government, be involved. There's, student councils and all that at school. All of those things are very, very important as well. But it's gotta be a start somewhere. Thank you.
If you build it, they will come. At the Libby's market, we bought all these skateboarding ramps from Save Cuesta. Took us 6 months to figure out how to move them because they're made of steel and fiberglass. And we thought we could do it ourselves, but they're like really heavy. So we have all of those here in Vegas now. We just need to figure out a way to like move them around. And we did set up some of them. And all of a sudden there are all these teenagers like knocking on our door, wanting to skate it. And I think the spot on Douglas that Dreamscape wants to build an outdoor skate park at would be beautiful. And the more skate parks we have, the better. Because there are a lot of kids here that want to skate and the roads have potholes and stuff and they just can't.
So I've worked with a lot of the youth throughout the years, and one of the biggest things I've worked with them with is the skate park. I've seen nonprofits, I've seen the city, the county, everybody come in and constantly help create these plans, and then they take over and then they leave these kids hanging. So I think these kids, not just the kids, but the adults who were kids during this process, if we help them to actually complete these things instead of, again, putting that on the shelf, then I think we would get more engagement for them because they've done it time and time again. They told them, get a nonprofit status, learn this, that, and they did it, but they still shut them down time and time after again. A year before it became an Olympic sport, we had plans to create an Olympic training skate park with bike parks, with the other things, another project that got put on the shelf. And we can do this, we can make it happen, we just gotta give them a chance as well.
I was commenting earlier, Ms. Williams, she said, build it and they will come. I said, feed them and they'll come. Feed kids anything, they'll come, they'll come running. So, but I think we got a lot of nice programs in place already. I don't think we need a skate park would be nice. I know there's a good solid baseball program here in the city. So, and I was a part of that growing up and it really helped me out growing up. As far as youth being involved with civic issues, I mean, food, feed them food and they will come. And so, but our youth are out here. And I think the biggest problem with them is getting them off their video games. You know, we saw it with the arcades growing up and stuff, and now they got it right there in the house, right there in front of them. So if you can get them off the video game, get them somewhere, great. So food always works.
We used to have a youth commission and it worked for a short while and then the youth didn't want to belong anymore. And so I think that we need to work more closely with our public schools to maybe get students involved with student council. There's all kinds of organizations at the different high schools that the students participate in, and maybe from those, we can get some of those students to be more vocal and more involved in government and what we're doing, and bring their ideas to us. I worked with high school students for 38 years, and I loved every single one of them. And they have wonderful ideas, they're smart, and we just need to tap into them and get them hooked, and then maybe we can move forward on having more activities that they enjoy, that they want, and move forward on that.
So in terms of engaging students, young people to engage with government, it's right here. Social media, and that's what it is. Those that want to engage, you gotta engage them where they're at. Just think back when you were 16, 17 years old. And how do we engage at that time? And one, the reality is, I'll just speak for myself, when I was that age, I had no interest in government or anything else. I have a couple of buddies here in the crowd, and we were interested in playing sports and hanging out. And I think that's just typical of all youth. Now, in terms of what can we provide for them, well, we have a rec center, and I think the hours may have changed, but my point is, it's almost 12 o'clock. And that rec center, in past hours, it closes at noon today. And it's closed tomorrow. And it closes at 8 p.m. every other night. So if we want youth to access what's available, it has to be available to them at their leisure, at their time. It should be open all day. It should be open Sunday. It should be open Monday. There's a skate park there. They probably want something different. But the way I look at it, it's for the greater good. There's some things that government provide that doesn't, it's not gonna create revenue. It's gonna be a cost.
4 years ago, I said, build it, they will come. Our kids and our parents were going to Santa Fe, Santa Rosa, Albuquerque, Farmington to go play ball. But I said, we scheduled a meeting with the governor, the mayor Romero now, and Mayor Trujillo. And what we told the governor is, we need our kids to stay here in Vegas. We need to spend our money here in Vegas. We need others to come in here. And we build a $2.2 million 2 baseball fields at Rodriguez Park. We have another $1.2 million to do phase 2 for soccer fields. The River Walk, we put in lighting. We have another $1.2 million to do the trail north of Bridge Street. The rec center, we're gonna redo the roof because it's leaking on phase 2. We did the second phase, that needs to be replaced. That's over $1 million, easy. So we've included all our parks. We've done probably, I'm gonna say an estimate of $3 million of improvements in all our parks. I support any kind of outdoor activity that we can get for Las Vegas and our youth. Thank you.
The next question I'm gonna be asking, I'm thinking about, I should turn this into a course so I can have my students also do research on this question. Because it seems like a question that everyone in this town really cares about, and it is, what can we do more for affordable housing? Yes, please.
Well, it's hard to be first every time, but it's okay. I don't want to apologize. I got invited to the mayoral debate forum. And I had to call him back and tell him I'm not running for mayor, I'm running for council. So they scheduled me to be here, and I appreciate that. And I hate to disappoint the other But affordable housing, we had housing, we got in trouble, we're paying housing back. We have an empty lot on Mills Avenue, we're gonna work towards working with HUD to do a housing development there. We have abandoned some properties, we put in $100,000 into abandoning properties that people don't care about in our community, and we have plenty of them. We've done about probably 6 of them or so in the last 4 years. We acquired a property at Alpha Supper Club that we are looking with HUD and the New Mexico Finance, not with HUD, with the New Mexico Finance Authority, to see if we can get housing, town housing developed there, and we're looking at 13 of them for now. And then we have another vacant property across the Robertson High School field, which has been there vacant for 30 years, that we're also looking for housing. And we're looking at other options. Thank you.
Housing, it's a multi-variable type of question, because one, you have to have the water, right? Without water, there's not gonna be any more housing. So that situation, and for long term. Second, you have to have economic development. You cannot have housing without economic development, because you have to have someone to buy the houses, right, or rent the houses. So that's the second piece. They go hand in hand. It's a number of variables coming together. I think the third piece is, yes, government is a part of it, and our current councilor has outlined some nice things that the city are doing, but there has to be a private element to some of the housing. But who is gonna come in and build the housing? Where is it gonna be located? So I think we have to look to partner. You have to look to partner with private entities. You have to look to partner with other institutions. I is proposing some housing development. Now, if we have two public entities proposing housing developments, have they talked to each other? Have we shared our plans? So I think the more we can work together, private, government, and local institutions, the better the reality of new housing in Las Vegas.
The city council, the mayor, and the city manager have worked on collaborating with the Mortgage Finance Authority to build housing on Montezuma Street, Sapeo Street. We have lots that were donated where the old Alpha Supper Club was located. So the Mortgage Finance Authority has funding for those homes. We can build up to, I think it's 16 or 19 homes that will be reasonably priced. There'll be 2 or 3 bedroom homes, 2 baths, so that we can have housing available for people that move to Las Vegas and are looking for a place to live. Others who are here that are renting, who might want to be able to buy their own homes, will have the opportunity to do so. So that is a project that is already in the works. And so I would just like people to know that this is something that we're working on. We're not just letting it go by the wayside and saying, oh, well, too bad. So, thank you.
I can't talk to affordable housing intelligently, but if voted in, I'll lift the hood up and take a look at it and stuff. I mean, since I was a kid here, I was here when they brought down the projects down here over by on Mills. There's still no housing out there. So I'd like to take a look and see what's going on with our housing. So thank you.
I agree with both of these guys. Pacheco did make a good point, though. We do need some economic development back. We lost it a few years ago, not many years ago, and it hasn't been brought back. And I think if we bring that back, then we can start developing these things, not just housing, but a lot of other things. I used to go to some of the meetings for the business, and we'd sit there with all these big business people who wanted to invest in communities, and they would ask us, why should we come to your community? We need to get back to that again, to those meetings, and we need to tell them why they should invest in our community, why we should be bringing businesses here, why we should be bringing the housing here, and there's other ways to do it. We don't necessarily have to build these big, huge houses. Again, there's cost-effective ways of building all these other types of houses as well. So it'd be great to get back into that, see where it's at, and get our economic development back on board.
I've heard the difficult part of acquiring these properties no one cares about is figuring out finding the owner. So that would be a challenge, but if that can be accomplished, then all these housing projects can happen, and it's kind of this catch-22 where when you fix something, it raises everybody else's rent and taxes, and we've all seen how much the taxes and the rent have gone up to like Santa Fe prices, and we don't want it to turn into Santa Fe. Just wanna like, you know, do maintenance or whatever. Yeah, there's that new, they're gonna build row houses on Valencia too. I heard that's through the Canadian Foundation. But
Well, in terms of housing, partnerships is key. We are working with Highlands University currently. And, you know, not too long ago, there was a bond passed for West Las Vegas schools to have housing for instructors. And you know, Highlands University is looking at the same thing. They don't have housing for their instructors. They don't have housing for professors. Everybody that comes to Vegas to teach, it's probably from out of town, Santa Fe, Albuquerque. We need that housing here, is correct. We are doing some projects, you know, like the other councilors did mention about the pilot projects that the mayor and our city manager have put in place. And we are trying to repair some of the older stuff that has gone on in our community, which is the property that was mentioned on Mills Avenue. We haven't been able to acquire that. That property does belong to the North Regional HUD out of Raton. At this point, we need to get it back. Thank you.
Huh? Yeah. Economic development is one of my favorite subjects to teach in my classes. Really is. If you're ever interested, please come.
Come join us.
Come join us. We'll talk about it. And we can look at the other places on earth that have used politics to achieve economic development, and we can see if they can be useful here in Vegas. So spread the word. We got the kind of research support for the community.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. All right. So next question is about the local hot springs. Yeah. The way in which the question is framed is, should the city provide funds support for the local hot springs? I want to expand this question more and ask, how do you envision the city of Las Vegas working with the hot springs to bring in more development to our community? Would you like to go first? Yes, please.
Yeah, I really don't have a lot of background on that, I'll be honest with you, but if we are trying to incorporate the hot springs more with our community, I think what we need to do is make sure that public safety is key, number one. Public safety in that area, in other words, we would have police enforcement in that area as well. I guess we would have to partner with, you know, the World College probably to get some kind of infrastructure maybe built out there so that we could provide that kind of you know, support for the community that likes to use that hot springs. I like I said, I don't have a whole lot of background. I know a lot of people in our community do use the hot springs. And I also know that there's a lot of people that come from out of our city that want to use those hot springs, and they know about them, and they love having them here. So we need to just be in a partnership with people. Thank you.
Yeah, I think people love the way the hot springs are run, the way they are, like cleaned by the community, free, kind of like how the acequias are maintained. And they just have their fundraiser once a year, and that's how they raise the funds to keep it going, and it seems like that's working fine.
The hot spring, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the group who created the nonprofit to keep our hot springs.
Yes.
To why we have those the way we use it today. So what I would say, considering it's also in the county, we would probably have to do a lot of partnership work with the county to provide more stuff for that group so they could continue to run it. I don't think they want much changes. Everybody likes it natural, just the way it is, but I'm sure there's a few things that they could use some help with every year. So I would just say we would have to partner together, find out what those are and work with them on it. But again, I really, really want to thank that group for working hard with the United World College to bring it together so that we can have those hot springs for our use today.
I think if it works, don't fix it. I'm one of those youth that use those hot springs. And I like those hot springs. But I think, yeah, if it works, don't fix it. Everything's fine the way it is. But we'd have to take baby steps with it. If it's gonna take a collaboration between what the city, the county, World College is gonna take a nice collaboration, just move slowly with it, because there is revenue that could be produced from those hot springs as well, from outside residents. There is a possibility there. So that's something to think about. That's about it.
As has been mentioned, I believe that we do have to have collaboration with all the different entities that have a sense of ownership of the hot springs. Some people say, oh, it belongs to the city, no, it belongs to United World College, no, it belongs to the county, no, it belongs to a certain person that owns that piece of property where they are. And so we need to figure all of those things out before we can move forward and make things more stable, for lack of a better word, where everyone can enjoy those and something that we can use year round. Parking is an issue. I think if you drive out there and people are at the hot springs, sometimes you see people come really close to those cars, or people are crossing the road to get to the hot springs in their cars. To me, that's kind of a danger because they just like run out there, and so we need to have some kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say policing, but have somebody there that can monitor and be sure that people are safe when they're trying to utilize the hot springs.
I'll have to say that, you know, I'm a regular there, I go out once a week. But I think there is pros and cons to getting government involved. But one, I think you need to have data. What do they really bring in terms of dollars to the community at this point? I would say they bring a lot to a certain extent, and I just base that off my own experience there. Because about 50% of the people that I meet on any given day or night that I'm there are not from Las Vegas. And many of those, because I tend to go in the evening, are asking, where can I go eat? What is available? And we don't really have much available at that time. Also, some burritos, that's the staple. So let's really find out if people are coming. You know, QR codes, that's a great thing. Could we have those in our hotels? What are you here for? That goes to city government. That could also tie to public safety, right? So data, we need data to decide, is it viable or is it not? It's a hard question to answer in just 1 minute. But I think there's potential.
You know, back in the days, there used to be 3 tribes of Native Americans that would live there, surrounded the hot springs, and they all got along. Down the line, the hermit pig guy used to come down take a bath and go back, soak from Hermit's Peak. I go to the hot springs all the time. I've been there since I was a kid. It's a nice place, and I thank Mr. Martin Laser. He's the head of the organization that does all the cleaning and all that, and there's a little box there for you to donate. It does belong to United World College. The city of Las Vegas should do an MOU with both organizations, nonprofit and United World College, to sustain that with larger tax funding. I think it's vital for the community. Every time I go, it's a lesson learned, because I start talking to some people there, and they tell me about their stories and what's going on. We had miracles happen due to the hot springs. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed, the way in which our community works with the hot springs is an exemplar community-based organization that I would say a lot of other places are inspired by. Whenever someone from outside asks me, wait, you guys have hot springs? Not only that, it's free, it's community run, and it has health benefits for everyone, is something that I am proud to say to anyone outside of Las Vegas. So indeed, it is a really good thing to have here. All right, so I am gonna transition to our last question. I'm gonna ask you the last question, and after that is done, I have a few questions here that I couldn't get to because of our time constraints, and I couldn't really figure out how to put them in, but the candidates will be here. So in that spirit, I will read out those questions, and if you are interested in approaching the candidates in the after the event and ask them for a follow-up, you should feel free to do that. Okay, so our final question is, what is the most important issue facing the city now and for the future? How would you realign the city's priorities to address this issue? So this is the closing question. What do you think is the most important issue that the city is facing, and how would you realign the city's priorities to address that question?
You're still closing after this, right?
This is the closing.
Oh, this is the closing. The question is the closing.
Yes.
Well, I have served 9+ years in the city council. I have made a difference. I have shown leadership. I work with the mayor and council. We have done many projects for the last 4 years. The number one priority is obviously our new water treatment plant and the renovation of our Peterson Dam. Without that, we won't exist here at Highlands. We won't exist at East and West. We won't exist as a city, and there will be no future growth. We gotta take a handle on that, and we're in a partnership and MOU with the state. They have the accessibilities and they have the resources and so forth. And we're in partnership, and we're gonna move forward doing that. Of course, once the new governing body comes in, they should set some new goals, short goals, as well as long-term goals. And it's a collaborative effort as to what they want to do for the next administration. We have made a lot of changes. If you want to go back 4 years where you were at 4 years ago, vote me out, because I'm not part of that. I'm part of progress, and I'm part of moving forward. I put my name out there. I put my family aside to serve the people of Las Vegas. I love Las Vegas. Thank you.
So I think there's many things that sound good. One, again, water, civic pride, economic development, those things go hand in hand. You know, when you look at our median income, 29,000 for the average person in Las Vegas. So we talk about housing development. You can't have housing development if your median income is 29,000. We need to bring jobs in. We need to fix water, because you can't have economic development without water. Right, and we need to change perception. Perception is greater than reality. And when the perception is there's no water here, the water's not safe to drink, people are not gonna move here. So we need to change that perception. How do we do that? It's a unified effort. We're all in it together. I work by the 80-20 rule. I believe most people, we agree on 80% of the things. But we tend to focus on the 20% that we don't agree on. And we spend too much time agreeing, just disagreeing. Let's focus on the 80%. Let's focus on what we can do together to move Las Vegas forward. So I said my number earlier, I said it really fast, it's 505-429-8591. And I have an event immediately following this at Charlie Spickens Panel, 12:30.
I think currently our main focus is the water. We have worked tirelessly to bring in experts to help us fix the old water treatment plant that has cost a great deal of money, cost over $20 million just to buy new water filter beds and other equipment that is necessary. And our focus, of course, is to make sure that we get our new water treatment plant planned, designed, and constructed as soon as we can. All indications are that it is going to take several years to do that. So we need to make sure that the current water treatment facility that we have now is producing potable water that is safe to drink and safe to wash your hair in and take a shower or whatever. So also, the one thing that really I would like to see change is people's attitude. People are very, very negative. And I think that happens because people don't quite understand what is going on. They don't go to city council meetings, they don't read the paper, they don't listen to the radio. And we need to help build our city up, not knock it down. Thank you.
Of course, water is the priority, and as Mr. Pacheco said here, perception is reality, and the perception outside, I mean, I go to Santa Fe sometimes, they're like, hey, how's the water out there in Vegas? Is it good to drink? I'm like, yeah, I guess, and yeah, it's all right. You know, so I hear it a lot, you know, outside of Vegas and stuff, so. But by being able to work together and then, you know, using another phrase, attention to detail, the devil's in the details, right? If you vote for me, I'm gonna get into the details and I'm gonna find out and I'm gonna be able to, I will oversee what is going on with water. And I will give it my best college try. And I will get to the down and dirty of what's going on with the water, how we're coming along, and if we're making progress and if we're on schedule, where are we at with the water? A lot of times you ask people, I don't know, I got some letter in the mail that says the water's this or the water's that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running too. It's because I'm concerned about the water also. So that was one of the reasons.
So I think what we need to do is we need to start focusing on working together again, not just economic development. And we've got community development, we've got art council, we've got Main Street, we've got Chamber of Commerce, all this need to get back to where they were, and the city needs to support them the way we did in the past when they were thriving and they were helping the city bring in grants, bringing in help, the water, all this stuff we could really accomplish if we did it together. It's just like in my campaign when I say together, we can make a difference. We can't do it alone. I mean, we could, but you've seen what the outcome of that is. And we need to get together and do that. Skate park, whoever it is, we need to get together and see how we can help each other to accomplish the goals that we need to accomplish. Because if we continue to work against each other or not build the things that we don't have anymore, we're gonna stay where we are.
Yeah, water is number one, but also keeping the youth in our community by preserving our culture and history, speaking Spanish, the fiestas, the music in the park, the food. A lot of people have issues with migration, people coming here from outside, but people are also leaving too. So we need to provide the culture, which is what makes people stay here and not want people coming in from outside. but keep more people in as well.
You know that our community has gone through a lot of, trials in the last 2-3 years. First, we've had COVID, we've had water issues, the fire, all kinds of stuff that have impacted our community. Yes, water is the top priority. Without that water, economic development, housing, nothing else exists, just like the other councilors mentioned. It's our job to listen as city councilors to you people and to get a feel for what's best for our community. And we also gotta remember that we are in we have an aging community. We have a lot of people in our community that are in their 80s and 90s, including my own parents that are up in age. We have to listen to them and find out what the best thing it is for our community. We have to start from the bottom sometimes, but here we are right now. We're at a point where we can make a difference with this water and bring our community to a better place. Thank you.
They need to thank you. Getting ahead of the program, huh? We need to thank you.
Just a second. Maybe the next time we also need to do a forum in Spanish, ¿no?
Sí.
La próxima vez nos convocamos para hacer un foro en español, ¿no? Aquí en la universidad hablamos los dos idiomas. I would like to ask everyone to give a round of applause for all of the candidates who have answered your questions. And Leoma, would you like to come and make your announcement?
Again, thank all the candidates for your patience, for actually showing up here today. I want to especially thank Dr. Sumar, if I said that correctly. He was here last weekend for our mayor forum, which turned out really good. We had a good turnout. He's here today and he will be here next Saturday again for the school board forum. Please join us. I also want to, these things are not easy to put on. We make mistakes, so please forgive us for whatever, you think we maybe can do correctly. But it's hard to find people to even do this. There's 3 of us here today. And the doctor as well. I also wanted to say thank you to Hydens for this beautiful facility on this beautiful campus. So we hope you'll join us next week. We have one more.
Thank you. I will post them because they're very long.
You know what? I forgot one thing, guys. Better thank the Federation of Democratic Women. It's our nonpartisan event.